What's up, guys? Welcome to Let It Be Heard, where we are doers of the word, not hearers only. I'm your host, Jaden Heard, and today we're going to be going into top 10 things that every conservative needs to know going into college. It's going to be a great one because I actually have a PhD in knowing what a conservative should know because I am going into my senior year, right? And I went into college as a liberal. It's funny because it was 2 months into college that I became a conservative, and then it faced a whole bunch of backlash for the last 3 years. And now I'm going to my last year. You know, we're on the last road of the mile, and I want to give some advice to some incoming freshmen who may be fearful of some things, right? So let's get into it. First thing that a conservative needs to know is that you have to engage in activism, okay? A lot of these campuses, there's a lot of liberals. Most of the students are liberal. So in order for them to be even open to conservatism at all, they have to understand that we exist. So if you're tabling on whatever concourse or student union that you have, if you're showing that you exist, then of course, now that opens the door room for new ideas for them to be presented to, right? Because they were indoctrinated in high school. These people grew up liberal, whatever, right? So let's show them that we actually exist and engage in it, right? Let's put up some flyers around campus. Let's set up a table, like a Change My Mind table or whatever organization that you'd be with. Let's table, okay? Let's do all that stuff. Number 2, be prepared for challenges, okay? You guys need to go into this expecting to encounter different opinions, and potential backlash. Again, I'm canceled. Like, I've been canceled 10,000 times on campus, and I didn't expect it. But after the first time, it got a lot easier, right? Now, when you're challenged in class, do not compromise the truth, okay? This is the most important thing on this topic, right? When you're in class, when your professor says something wonky and then opens the class up for discussion, you need to be the first person to raise your hand and disagree, respectfully, of course. Because if you're silent, it's just going to be an echo chamber, and they're all going to just be okay with each other. Be that guy that the students roll their eyes at when you raise your hand, okay? Understand that that is necessary for our future. Now, if any persecution comes to you from a professor, from another student, if you're tabling or someone flips your table, get that on video or get the persecution from a professor in writing or get any proof that you can. First of all, take it to your university, okay? That should be the first thing you do. Second thing, and you should, but a lot of times student affairs are very liberal, so sometimes nothing will be done. This is why I love campus reform. If you've never heard of campus reform, go check out their website, campusreform.org. You can literally go there and submit all types of stuff, and they will investigate it, and they will do a whole story about it. I've been put on the news about it. I've had articles written about me. I've been featured on Daily Wire articles. I've been featured on all types of stuff. I've been on the news before. Like, hundreds of thousands of students have had articles written about them. They've been on Fox News, Newsmax, RSBN, I'm sure, has done some stuff with students. Like, I'm telling you, like, campus reform, report all that stuff to them. That's number 2. Number 3, find common ground with people who disagree with you. I know this may surprise some of y'all since I'm so divisive, but find common ground. Now, let me clarify. Finding common ground is not compromising on what you believe. Common ground is something that you already agree on. It's something that you already believe that is true. You're just simply acknowledging that that person agrees with what is true, right? So, for example, finding common ground on abortion, right? I agree that abortion is wrong at all points, right? From the moment of conception. The pro-choicer may agree yes up until a certain point, right? So like up until like 10 weeks or something, right? We have common ground. We agree on that, but we do disagree for the rest of the weeks, right? Obviously, that's a common ground. And you want to find that because it's going to be very tense, especially with most of the campus being against you. You want to have that common ground. You want to have some unity so that they're open to listening to you. That is really important. That goes on to number 4, time management. Guys, we preach this all the time throughout our entire lives, and all of us are still bad at it, especially in college. I know for me, when I first got to college, I had terrible time management. I kind of still do, but it's better now that I'm leading a chapter, starting a Bible study. I have a show, I have a job. You got it. You're forced to get good at it. Guys, make sure you're prioritizing your time, okay? Make sure you're studying, because anybody's going to find any reason to get some bad stuff about you. So make sure you have really good time management. Make sure you're setting aside a time to be by yourself, to just chill. Make sure you're setting aside time aside to study. And again, we talked about the other things. Do activism. Make sure you have time to do that stuff, but also prioritize the things that need to be prioritized, right? This is really important. You need to do that from day one. This is what I'm going to do day one, right? That leads us into number 5. Go ahead and plan for your future, right? As a freshman, go ahead and set up a pathway. Now, the pathway obviously may change, but go ahead and set up that pathway, right? Another thing too is understand what you want to do and where your goals are, because this is really important. When you're doing your activism or whatever you're saying in the public square, that's going to follow you for the rest of your life. So whatever hill you want to die on, you better make sure that's the hill you want to die on. Okay. Don't go out here and defend something that will get you in trouble with your career if you don't actually care about it. Right. There are things that are worth standing up for, but there are some things that are just not worth it. And there's some conversations that's just not worth being had. There's some things not worth being participating in. And there's some clubs that's just not worth joining for the sake of your future. Be careful about the hill you want to die on, because it will follow you. Number 6, critical thinking. Okay, this is really important because we have the Steven Crowders, the Ben Shapiros, the Jaden Heards of the world, right? Going on the college campuses and having these conversations and stuff like that and starting a huge uproar, right? But that is only the surface level. The real movement, the real activism, and the real critical thinking stuff is on the student body. You guys need to understand critical thinking skills. You need to understand logic, philosophy. Your first year, take these 2 courses. Take Intro to Philosophy if it's available, and take Intro to Logic. Those 2 will be accounted to your electives so that you can get 6 hours of electives out of the way, depending on what school you're at, and take those 2 classes. It doesn't matter if your professor's liberal, logic and philosophy, they're all the same, no matter who's teaching it. It doesn't, don't be afraid of that. Don't be scared of that. Take those 2 classes. You need to understand the basic fundamentals of logic, the laws of logic, the laws of philosophy, so you can better understand this stuff. You can understand people's arguments and you can kind of pick them apart. And you won't get ran around in circles by these intelligent atheists and these intelligent leftists, right? You will know what you're talking about, and that'll give you more credibility when you're, spewing your conservative propaganda, right? So that takes us to number 7, know your rights, okay? This is really important. What's going on college campuses are sickening right now. There's these so-called free speech zones, right? Where you can only have free speech in a certain area. Guys, that is unconstitutional. Most states' constitutions contradict that as well, especially here in Alabama. We have a blatant law against that. And so a lot of these campuses have free speech zones where they'll tell you, well, you can't street preach here because it's not a free speech zone. Or you can't do this here because it's not a free speech zone. Don't ignore that. That is wrong, right? So know your rights, right? Speaking of free speech, by the way, why is it now like a weird thing to be so pro free speech? Why are all these big tech companies and all these monopolies taking away our free speech? Well, what's playing out right now at big tech companies sets a very dangerous precedent in the future. I mean, look, guys, it doesn't matter what your politics are, who you voted for. Everyone should have the right to express themselves freely. Big tech monopoly has instead opted for silencing tactics and censorship, and they basically are doing this to silence conservative values, right? And we here at RSBN are in the fight against big tech's control of the internet, and we highly recommend ExpressVPN. Have you guys ever wondered how free to access tech giants make all their money? Well, by tracking your searches, your video history, and everything you click on. And they basically build a big profile on you, and then they sell off all your sensitive data. And when you use ExpressVPN on your computer, your phone, or your tablet, or any devices that you have, you become completely anonymous. And a lot of your online presence is hidden, including your IP address. That makes your activity much more difficult to trace and sell to advertisers. And what's more important than this is that ExpressVPN encrypts 100% of your network data to protect you from eavesdroppers and cyber criminals. I like ExpressVPN because it just takes one click. It's so easy to use. That's why ExpressVPN is rated #1 by Tech Radar. So let's stop allowing big tech companies to rob us of our free speech, and let's start robbing them of their right to our data by going to expressvpn.com/rsbn. If you click on that link, expressvpn.com/rsbn, it'll give you 3 months free off of a annual subscription. Again, that's expressvpn.com/rsbn. Now, as we were saying, know your rights, right? We have to understand that we as conservatives are the target on campuses, right? The administration, professors, students are looking for any way to shut you down. We're not having none of that. We know all the codes, we know the laws, we know the campus policy like the back of our head, and we need to use that against them, right? And you can take them to court. I know personal street preachers that have sued many schools over this, right? And what I like about him, we're going to bring him back on the show, but Kerrigan Skelly, he has sued multiple schools. He could have won millions of dollars, $100,000. I don't know, but he only sued him for $1 because he doesn't want to take their money. He just wants to change the policies, and he won every time, but he'll only take $1 because it's actually a law. You have to take at least $1 if you want to sue someone, which is absolutely hilarious. Now, yeah, and free speech zones are rampant. So guys, beware of those and know your rights. Now, number 8, use your campus resources. Okay. There's so many campus resources out there. There's a library, there's a student union. And those are really important. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're studying. Make sure you're using the free resources of studios for you to record stuff. There's all types of stuff, and it's completely free. Don't waste your money on all that equipment. Secondly, on that, there's so many things to get involved with on these campus resources. You have SGA, Student Government Association. If you are a conservative, you need to participate in student government, SGA. We need more SGA conservatives because they control the budget on campuses. Millions of dollars that could be allocated to conservatism are being put into pride centers and these leftist organizations like College Dems and Socialists for America and all this stuff. Like all that stuff, all that money could be going to your organization that you're going to be joining, right? Make sure you get involved with that stuff. Write to your school newspaper, right? Make sure you're using your school newspaper as a resource to push out more conservative values. Hey, be the editor-in-chief of your newspaper. Do whatever it takes, right? That will allow you to have so much control over just the climate of your campus. You literally have control of the media of your campus just by participating in that. So guys, please do that. And if you can't do that, write a opinion article to the newspaper. They have to publish it, by the way, because you're a student and they represent the student body. They have to publish it. They'll clarify that it's an opinion from a student, but they have to publish it. And that's a conservative article that would have never been posted, right? So that's very important, guys. Number 9. Stay informed. Look, don't only watch the Jaden Heards. Don't only watch like the good conservative media guys who are able to keep you updated on things and give you maybe good talking points. Stay informed on the other side. Look at the Hassan Abis. Look at the I mean, I don't know. I'm blanking on lefties right now. But watch those people. Watch them. The Young Turks. Watch them. See what they're saying. See their angle on these stories, see where they're coming from, understand their perspective so that you can understand the foundation, the underlying arguments, and so that you can take them apart when you face them on college campuses. These college students, these college lefties are not intimidating, y'all. They're not really that smart. They're not good. I mean, it's very surface level stuff, but if you're watching the Young Turks and you're able to unpack what they're saying, you can handle these college freaks easily, right? So don't worry about that, but make sure you get informed because, again, you don't want to get shut down or embarrassed because it's only going to hurt the movement even more. Again, you're representing a movement here, right? We want to change the world, and college campuses change the world. We want to do that. So make sure you guys are staying informed. And last but not least, certainly not least, this is actually probably the most important thing you need to do. You need to join a conservative organization or otherwise network. Get to know conservatives on your campus. I'm personally the president of Turning Point USA here at Auburn University. Over 400 members. We have meetings that average 30 to 40 people. That's 30 to 40 conservatives that I see every week, right? We have speaker events that are as large as 500, 600 people showing up, and some as little as 15 or 20, right? So, but the fact is that you are involved in something that is bigger than yourself, right? and you're getting to know conservative professors. I know so many Auburn conservative professors through what I've done, and I've networked with them, and I've even had opportunities to grow myself and a potential career path with that person because I know that they're conservative. They know my values. They know that we align on these things. You get privileges from certain professors and faculty and administration. They give you leeway. You want to get to know all these people on campus, and the best way to do that is to get plugged into your local Turning Point, your Students for Life, your Young Americans for Freedom, your Young Americans for Liberty, College Republicans, all that stuff. Get involved with it ASAP, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to wait until senior year and you look back and you're like, man, I really didn't do anything. I just stood here. I just wrote in some books, and now I'm about to go off to my job, and I didn't contribute to this at all. You know, guys, get involved on your campuses, get involved with these conservative groups, because you don't want to look back and have any regrets, right? No one's going to look back and regret and saying, man, I hate that I went to that Turning Point meeting that night instead of doing my homework. No one's going to say that, right? So make sure you guys get involved, get to know your conservative friends. And for you men, you might meet your wife. Who knows, right? It happens to a lot of us. So, guys, that was 10 things that every conservative student should know coming into college. But hold it right quick. We have another list available on our locals channel for 10 things that every Christian should know coming into college. If you guys want to check out that video, that'll be over on our locals channel. No ads. Just me talking to a camera about 10 things every conservative should know. I'm sorry, every Christian should know. So, hey, be sure to check out our locals for that video. It's going to be a really good one. It's going to keep you grounded in your faith and grounded in the scriptures as you progress through this, again, weird climate of a college campus and how liberal it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed that list. Obviously, there was more, but I had to stick to 10. Sorry, guys. But hey, be sure to check us out on locals. Go to expressvpn.com/rsbn, and also check out the rest of our videos that we put out. We put out some really good stuff this past week. So thank you guys for tuning in, and God bless. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And be sure to hit that follow button and that join button. It'll take you over to our locals channel where you can further support the show and get access to additional content. God bless.